Free agency is already hot and heavy and off the chain. I want to start with remember those conversations? I'm old enough to remember when running backs were disposable and replaceable. They were a dime a dozen, and they were having Zoom calls and therapy sessions and focus groups and group chats about how undervalued they are. And today, can't tell. Today, running backs are having a resurgence. Running backs on the move. We got to lead off with, I think the kids call it nasty work. They call it nasty work. I mean, like Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles feels like what the kids call nasty work. Like, ooh, like the Eagles going and getting Saquon Barkley and further making Giants fans' lives miserable. Howie Roseman paying up for a running back after he watched his running back, at least last year's leading rusher, DeAndre Swift, go and join the Chicago Bears, who have been busy so far this offseason. Eagles didn't stop there, though. They got Bryce Huff, the defensive end from the Jets. They're in the mix on Xavier McKinney from the Giants. But I wanted to start off with Saquon Barkley, though, man. What a huge pickup for the Eagles. What a devastating blow to Big Blue.
Ooh. Oh. I mean, okay, so all the things you said about running back off the top, you're right. They did have a lot of Zoom calls about it, not because they question their own value. They know they're valuable. And they know the hypocrisy involved where you want a running back who can be on the field for 3 downs. That's what they're looking for. Hey, I know you can run the ball, but can you catch it? Okay, I can be a part of the passing game. Okay, that's good. Okay, how are you on blitz pickup? Oh, I got to add that to my game. Good on blitz pickup. Well, can you run between the tackles? Yeah, I can do that too. I can run inside running, outside, whatever. I don't fumble, all that stuff. They know they're valuable. Their question is, why don't you pay up when it's time to pay me from my team? Why do you play this year-to-year game? Why do you franchise me some years and then say, no, we're not going to franchise you? So they're a valuable part of football. They're still not getting the money that they deserve. The only reason these teams are scrambling for running backs now is because of the inequities of the system that they've created, where all these running backs are not valued financially by their teams. They go on the open market and get a little bit more than what their teams would pay them. That being said, the Giants, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? How do you let Saquon Barkley, he's your whole offense? It's clear. When Saquon Barkley is out there, they're a much better offense. Daniel Jones is much better when Saquon Barkley is there as either a runner or a check down guy, because he's a check down guy who takes it to the house. I love this signing for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh,
and it makes me question the Giants' logic on this. Oh, what a miss. They went in, they just took your heart. He's the heart of the offense as a running back. In 2024, they lost the heart of their offense. They would have been better off losing Daniel Jones than losing Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and that's what they chose to sign. No, I love it for the Eagles. I mentioned fantasy football. They have a fantasy football offense, okay, at quarterback, receiver, tight end, and running back. And even though Jason Kelsey retired, a big hole in the middle. I think they extended Landon Dickerson, if I'm not mistaken. So they've been pretty busy. They've been very busy.
Hey, Michael, let me ask you this question real quick. I don't want to go too far down this eagle / rabbit hole, but do you think that they'll know that Nick Sirianni and Philadelphia will know how to use this weapon in the offense? Like you got Jalen Hurts, you got Saquon Barkley, you got Devontae Smith, you got A.J. Brown, you got so many freaking weapons. You got a great offensive line.
I have no doubts. I have no doubts. Maybe we might see fewer tush pushes. I have no doubts.
You have no doubts?
Who has he had? Saquon Barkley's not a committee. There's no committee when Saquon Barkley's your running back.
Did you watch?
You'd have to be a fool.
My Eagles down the stretch.
You'd have to be a fool not to know how to use Saquon Barkley, and you'd have to be a fool to pay Saquon Barkley what they paid him, and have your coach and your staff not use him properly. I will just point this out. Just one last note about the running backs.
Okay.
No Super Bowl winning team since 2013. No Super Bowl winning team since 2013 has paid its leading rusher more than $2.5 million. Having said all that, I love that for the Eagles. I love Josh Jacobs to the Packers. I think Josh Jacobs has a lot of tread on his tires. I love the Packers adding him and maybe even pairing him with Aaron Jones for Jordan Love. Right. Jordan Love's got tight ends. Jordan Love's got running backs. Jordan Love's got receivers. Green Bay, when you couple, listen, you and I, we love us in Detroit. We love us in Detroit. And Green Bay made the playoffs last year. Detroit's going to have a tough time holding off Green Bay in that division. Chicago's rebuilding again. Minnesota, we'll get to them in a second, just took a huge hit. Green Bay's coming for sure. And then you got some other interesting ones, more about the vacancies that they create and who they might be replacing than anything. Tony Pollard to Tennessee, which was interesting. From the standpoint of like Tajay Spears felt Tony Pollard-ish. So that's an interesting combination there. But more than anything, the Cowboy, which part? Signing Tony Pollard or letting Derrick Henry go? Talk about heart and soul.
Yeah.
Letting Derrick, which part?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you got Derrick Henry. Why? I'm going to really give you the spirit of how I feel about it. It's not a why. How come?
Why come?
How come? Yeah, why come? There you go. Even better. Why come you let Derrick Henry leave and you bring in Tony Pollard? It doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense to me. I'm trying to make it make sense, and it's totally over my head. So you help me out here. Why does that make sense?
I don't know. I guess we got to see what Derrick Henry gets, presumably from a team like the Cowboys or the Ravens. If it's more than 3 years at $24 million, which sounds similar to what DeAndre Swift got from the Bears, if it's more than that for a 30-year-old Derrick Henry, who's definitely still got some tread left on his tires, then it is definitely a questionable move by our guy, Rand Carthen, and the Tennessee Titans. Because Tony Pollard is not an upgrade from Derrick Henry. Unless Derrick Henry just didn't want to be there for any number and wanted to go to a contender because he didn't want to be part of a rebuilding Titans organization with however many years he's got left. But if Derrick Henry goes somewhere and gets, say, Saquon Barkley-esque money, even at 30 years old, then I do understand it, which again goes back to the theme we started with. I do understand it in terms of the economics that a lot of teams apply to the running back position, where it's like, hey, we want Tajay Spears to be the lead. Maybe it's a committee. Maybe Tajay Spears is the lead guy. Maybe Tony Pollard kind of does some Tajay Spears-like things, or, Brian Callahan, a new coach, uses him in unique ways as more of a weapon than a running back. And maybe they find a power complement to Tajay Spears in the draft or for cheap. Maybe something like that. Maybe they bring back a Deontay Foreman, I don't know, who played in Tennessee once upon a time. Maybe they do that and go committee-wise and save money at running back as opposed to paying Derrick Henry and you made this point earlier. All right, you talk about running backs not wanting to go somewhere else to have to get love and get paid. Maybe Derrick Henry don't want the Titans pay cut. Maybe he'll take less to go pay for somebody else, but he ain't taking less from the Tennessee Titans. It could be those types of politics at play.
Yeah, because I meant too much to you guys. I meant too much. I've seen too much. I've meant too much. Why would I do that? Why would I take a pay cut? And sometimes that does factor into it. I just hope that this doesn't factor in, Michael. You hear this in a lot of sports where and fans kind of feed into it, and I think sometimes coaches and general managers believe it too. What will a fan say? A hating fans playbook. This is number one in a hating fans playbook. If you happen to win a division title, you win a championship in your first year as a coach or second year as a coach or general manager, a hating fan will say, oh, you know what? You did that with insert previous regime name, their players. Mm-hmm. So? Hey, I won with their players. So what you're saying is they couldn't win with their own players. So I came in and won with their players. I'm supposed to apologize for that? I hope it's not a case. What I'm getting at is, I hope it's not a case of Rand Carthon saying, hey, I need to bring in my own guys because Derrick Henry represents the regime of Mike Vrabel and John Robinson.
The old guard.
And it's a new day in town.
Rand don't strike me as that kind of guy. Yeah, I don't think he cares. I think he just wants to win. He don't strike me as that kind of guy.
Well, if he's trying to win, he should have kept Derrick Henry over Tony Pollard.
Well, if the Cowboys are really trying to win, if they're really all in, didn't Dak Prescott say he wanted to see what Jerry Jones means by all in? Go get Derrick Henry. Like that's such a no-brainer. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing? I mean, this should already happen. I mean, legal tampering don't really mean you got to wait till noon. We know that. You ain't really got to wait till noon to start talking to these people. Derrick Henry, and I mean, the Ravens less so, only because of how the Ravens typically approach the running back position in general. But then again, I never thought I'd see the day Howie Roseman would pony up for a running back like that. But okay, the Ravens feel like less of a fit, even though they're obviously a contender and don't have a star running back. Speaking of star, it just feels like Derrick Henry, Cowboys. It makes too much sense. It's too much like right for that to happen. Wait, hold on. Spoke too soon. Green Bay is cutting Aaron Jones. This is all happening in real time. Live TV ain't nothing like it, or live whatever this is. I mentioned
it's both.
Josh Jacobs with Aaron Jones. Like, nah, Aaron Jones, see you. Josh Jacobs. It's his show. But I would say, oh, no. So, yeah, you're right. And then, okay, so this is a great rebuttal to what I was saying about just draft and develop one. Okay, so the course of Josh Allen's career was the trajectory of Josh Allen's career was changed by the acquisition of Stephon Diggs from Minnesota. Jalen Hurts was changed by A.J. Brown coming from Tennessee. And obviously Tennessee's fortunes were changed. And Tennessee thought they could draft and develop a guy, Traylon Burks. How'd that work out, replacing A.J. Brown, to your point? What was another one? Oh, and DJ Moore was supposed to do that for Justin Fields last year. I mean, he had a good season.
Kind of was.
But it was the same principle. It was the same principle.
He was.
Like, let's get a big-time proven wide receiver. Yeah. Let's get a big-time proven wide receiver. So,
you want to
there's something to be said for that.
You want a quick prediction of where Aaron Jones, who was just cut, we just found this out, he was cut by Green Bay. I think he's going to
Where he's going to go?
New England. New England, here's my logic on it. New England has a lot of former Cleveland people and former Packers people. So if you see a good player who has some association to Cleveland recently or Green Bay, look to New England. Elliott Wolf, his father, Hall of Famer Ron Wolf, still has a lot of sources and connections to Green Bay. I think Aaron Jones is going to the Patriots.
Aaron Jones could help some teams.
I know they picked up Gibson today, but I think Aaron Jones, I can see him in New England where, Alex Van Pelt, they won a lot of good running backs. So you got to have a lot of running backs in New England, a lot of good ones.
Which Gibson? They got the Patriots got Antonio Gibson? Oh, I missed that one. See, look, I didn't realize that. See, it's hard to keep up with this shit right now. That's a good signing. I like Antonio Gibson. If he can hold on to the ball, I like him. Wide receiver, converted to running back. That's a big part of it, right? That's a big part of it. But he's a nice weapon. I like him. That's an interesting signing. So you got Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson, and Ramondre Stevenson still in the backfield?
Ramondre.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of backs.
That'd be nice for whoever the quarterback is going to be. That's nice for whoever the quarterback is.
Old school. Yeah. Old school, but a bunch of backs. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.